In this video, we're going to be taking a look at how you multiply mixed numbers. Now, it is important that you watch carefully as I do this first example for you, and I'm going to be having you writing down some things in your notes. Now, the first thing you need to do whenever you're multiplying mixed numbers is you need to change each mixed number to an improper fraction. So step one, change each number into an improper fraction. I want you to write that down in your notes. Okay, so in order to change the mixed number to an improper fraction, we know that we multiply the denominator by the whole number, and then we add our numerator. So we have 4 times 1 will give me 4, plus 3, that's going to give me 7. I'm going to use a different color of ink. That's going to give me 7. And then our denominator stays the same. Now, for my 2 times 2, or my 2 and 1/2, I'm going to multiply my denominator by my whole number and then add the numerator. Keep my multiplication sign here. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. And we have 5 over 2. Now we can easily start multiplying. And we're going to multiply 7 times 5, numerator by numerator, denominator by denominator. And it's important to know that you do not need equal denominators or equivalent denominators, or common denominators, I should say, whenever you're multiplying mixed numbers or even multiplying fractions. First step, we're going to multiply the numerator. 7 times 5 is going to give me 35. And then I multiply my denominator. 4 times 2 will give me 8. Now we're not going to leave this as an improper fraction. We're going to change this improper fraction to a mixed number, and we know how to do this. We take our numerator and divide it by our denominator. 8 goes into 35 4 times. 4 times 8 is 32. We have 3 for our remainder. So we have 4 remainder of 3. Now the thing that we need to figure out is what we do with all these numbers. First of all, your quotient is going to be your whole number for your mixed number. Your remainder, the R in remainder, I always say goes for right on top of that fraction. And then the denominator stays the same. So we have 4 and 3/8. So 1 and 3/4 times 2 and 1/2 equals 4 and 3/8. So now we have 3 and 3/4 times 2 and 4/5. And I just want you to follow along as I do this for you. I'm going to use a different color of ink. First step, like I said before, you want to change your mixed numbers into improper fractions. You want to multiply the denominator by the whole number and then add the numerator. So first of all, 4 times 3 will give me 12, plus 3 will give me 15. The denominator stays the same, 15/4. Okay, then we're going to look at our next fraction, or next mixed number. Multiply denominator times whole number, giving me 10. Adding the numerator will give me 14. And the denominator will stay the same. Now, it is okay to use a calculator when you are working through these problems. Okay, so what I'm going to do is use my calculator for the numerator. 14 times 15. That's going to give me 210. That's going to be my numerator. Now, 4 times 5, pretty simple. It's going to give me 20. Now, we're not going to keep this as an improper fraction. So what we're going to do, we're going to change this improper fraction into a mixed number. So we're going to take that numerator and divide it by the denominator. So I know that 20 goes into 21 one time. 1 times 20 will give me 20. Okay, I know that 20 cannot go into 10, so that will be a 0. So it'll be 10 with a remainder of 10. I know I didn't finish it off there. Okay, but we can have a remainder there, remainder of 10. So 10 with a remainder of 10. Now it's important to know what we do with the numbers. The quotient will be your whole number. Your R for the remainder stands for right on top of your fraction. And then the 20, or the denominator, will stay the same. So we have 10 and 10/20ths. So it is important to simplify your fraction. Now I know that 10 and 20 can both be divided by 10. Now whenever I simplify my fraction, my whole number does stay the same, so that's going to stay at 10. 10 divided by 10 will give me 1. 10 divided by 20 will give me 2 for 10 and 1/2. Now I want you to complete this problem with me, and I apologize, it's a little crooked here, but that's okay. I want you to write this down in your notes. So the first step we will do is we are going to multiply or change our mixed numbers to improper fractions. We're going to multiply the numerator by the whole number, denominator by the whole number, and then we'll add our numerator. We're going to multiply 5 times 1 will give me 5 plus 1 will give me 6. That's 6/5. And then we're going to multiply my 5 times 1 and add my 3. That's going to give me 8/5. Now we can multiply. 6 times 8 is going to give me 48. Our denominator, 5 times 5, is going to give us 25. Now we're going to change this improper fraction to a mixed number, and we're going to divide our numerator by our denominator. And I know that 25 can go into 48 one time. 1 times 25 is 25. And then we have a remainder of 13. This can also give you good practice on how to just even change an improper fraction to a mixed number. So our whole number, or our quotient, will be our whole number. The R for remainder stands for right on top of the fraction for the numerator, and our denominator stays the same of 25. So we have 1 and 13/25 for our answer. So now we're going to do this problem together. 2 and 1/2 times 3 and 1/3. Once again, first step is changing our mixed numbers to improper fractions. 2 times 2 will give me 4, plus 1 will give me 5. And then we're going to keep our denominators the same. Next step, we're going to multiply our denominator. For the next one, multiply our denominator by the whole number, and then add our numerator again. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. And once again, the denominator stays the same. Drop down our multiplication problem that we can simply multiply from here. 5 times 10 is 50. And 2 times 3 is 6. So 50/6. Now we're going to change this improper fraction to a mixed number by doing a division problem. We know that 6 can go into 50 8 times without going over. 8 times 6 is 48. We have a remainder of 2. Okay, now our whole number, our quotient, will be our whole number, which is 8. The R stands for right on top. That 2 is going to be our numerator. The 6, our denominator, will stay the same. So we have 8 and 2/6, which can actually be reduced to 8 and 1/3. And whenever we simplify or reduce, our whole number does stay the same. Now what I want you to do is complete this problem at your seat and all by yourself, and when you're finished with it, you can press play and I'll have the answer for you. So pause the video now. And we have the answer of 12 and 23/25. Okay, we can see that we changed our mixed numbers to improper fractions. 19/5 times 17/5 gave us 323/25, and changing that into a mixed number gave us 12 and 23/25. Now I'm going to have you multiply 3 and 1/8 times 1 and 2/5, and I'll have you press play. I'm going to have the answers for you. So I want you to pause the video now, complete this problem, and then press play for the answers. Now we have our problem of 3 and 1/8 times 1 and 2/5, which came out to 25/8 times 7/5. as our improper fractions. When they were multiplied together, we had 175 over 40, which gave us 4 and 15/40, which could be simplified to 4 and 3/8. So this is how you multiply mixed numbers. Remember, the first step is you just change your mixed numbers to improper fractions. Then from there you multiply fractions like we've completed and that we've done in previous videos. If you have any questions about multiplying mixed numbers, please come and see me.